Guild of Guardians is going to be a mobile game on iOS and Android devices as a 3D dungeon crawler. So did the Balthazar's alpha team score match all the hype that we've been seeing about this game? Let's jump into the research and see how it scored. Guild of Guardians gameplay focuses on team strategy, synergy, and players' ability to dodge. A character's faction, class, and elemental synergy play into the combat and make up for many team compositions and strategy combinations. The dungeons are instants and will hold several challenges for the team to take on. Each dungeon is unique and contains various monsters, bosses, and traps. Players will have the chance to get drops from the monsters and bosses such as resources, currency, and equipment. Then the players can spend these rewards and items on recruiting and upgrading heroes already in their arsenal or crafting better equipment. As a holder of one of their rare hero NFTs, I got to playtest the first version of the alpha, but unfortunately I didn't make it in for the second playtesting, which was just recently. However, a few of our other alpha team members did get a chance to play the new version. The gameplay does seem to be ahead of a lot of other NFT games, especially for mobile. Now I will say I liked the first alpha version that I got to play, but I wasn't absolutely in love with the game. However, watching the other alpha team's gameplay, I did notice some improvements to the game, such as updated controls, some smoother movement, and a slow motion when casting your ultimate so that you can get better accurate results of where to place your ability. As for the alpha team, after doing some playtesting of our own for the Guild of Guardians demo, we see that it has strong potential to break through as a casual mobile RPG. Although no blockchain or NFT features were integrated yet, it felt like a high quality mobile game. Adding the Web3 functionality on top of this is bound to make some waves in this space, and with the community they already got behind them, this might be the first real Web3 contender in the mobile genre. As most of you know, I'm not the biggest mobile gamer, but I do see this as having a lot of potential, even though I would personally probably rather play it with a controller on my PC, or maybe even get a controller attachment for my phone to play this game. But if you look at most of the NFT games that are on mobile, a lot of them are just simply card games. It was also encouraging to see that things have improved since my first alpha test, and I hope they add more and more features because the game did feel a little bit repetitive, although most dungeon crawlers do, so hopefully as they add more and more content, it'll make the game even more engaging. I also think when they add the multiplayer game function, if they can do it well where you can have lots of fun with friends as well, that would be a huge win. The only way NFT items can be created in Guild of Guardians is through guilds. To craft something, players need materials that can be dropped in dungeons. Players will then have to contribute these resources to the guild to craft something from it. When crafted, the item will be sent to the market to be sold, and the profits will be proportionally split automatically between the contributors. Essentially, this guild crafting function that they've come up with is going to force you into a guild, but I don't think that's a bad thing as it's going to help you make connections, give you long-lasting friends hopefully within the game, and continually pull you back in. There's also something called hero merging. When racking up enough common heroes, players can merge multiple heroes into one higher tradable rarity, meaning that a free-to-play player can eventually work their way up to owning heroes of higher rarities. There's also going to be daily token rewards, leaderboard prizes, and guild rates. With the current information about this game, the Guild of Guardians background received a 6.5 out of 10 from our alpha team. Now how about for the NFT gaming assets and their artwork? Heroes are unique characters with abilities and traits connected to their faction, class, and element. Players can obtain heroes by purchasing a summon or playing the game and earning enough summoning shards. Each hero will have a different faction, class, element, and rarity to it. There are currently 3 factions in Guild of Guardians: the Empire, Glade, and Horde. The monsters that players will face will have different strengths and weaknesses against certain factions. The loot that players get from killing monsters will also be determined by which faction their hero is, as different factions will have different drop tables from monsters. Again, this is another concept from the team that is pushing players to work together, as you're going to be able to get different loot types from your different factions. A hero's class also determines which equipment it can use. There are 3 classes right now: Ranger, Melee, and Mage. There are also different elements: Earth, Fire, Water, Dark, and Light, which have different strengths and weaknesses against each other. Lastly, there's a rarity of either common, rare, epic, and legendary behind each character. There's also abilities to each hero, including a passive one and a different ultimate which has a cooldown. You can also ascend your hero, which increases your maximum level cap on each hero. Lastly, as mentioned before, each player has an opportunity to combine and discard 5 to 7 heroes of the same rarity in exchange for a random hero NFT of higher rarity. This is called merging. It definitely seems like they have enough variety within the heroes themselves, which is good because dungeon crawlers are usually repetitive, but if they have enough heroes with different abilities and you can create different team synergies, there is a lot of strategy to think about there while entering into different dungeons. One question I do have is, how do they plan to continue to give value back to those who purchased the NFTs in the first place? Because if players can level up their common heroes and continually get them to tradable ones, how does that not flood the market? I do, however, love that they are giving a free-to-play option for players to upgrade their heroes. It's just, how do they balance those two different concepts? There's also going to be pets in the game where players can bind them to their team to give benefits like increased dungeon rewards, crafting resources, and drop chances. The pet types are workers, scouts, and hunters. The picture below shows each pet's benefits and the boosts they will provide to the team. However, pets will be pretty scarce as the number is set to 50,000 and the team wants to keep it that way. This scarcity indicates that not even half the current community members will be able to acquire a pet. The team does have a pet version 2.0 in mind. However, there is no current information on whether this 2.0 means adding the breeding aspects or even pets as rewards in raids or anything similar. Lastly, as NFTs, there is the energy boosters. Guild of Guardians uses an energy system that refills over time. Energy is deducted from a player's reservoir whenever they enter a dungeon. In Guild of Guardians, there will be energy booster NFTs which provide a permanent boost to energy. Applying energy boosters will remove the fatigue rate a hero accumulates when going into a dungeon. It will also allow players to use a preferred hero for longer without suffering its hits to its stats. I am bummed that the game has implemented an energy system, as it's hard to find an NFT game that you can play for multiple hours on end. I'm sure the energy system is to make sure that players don't earn too much in one day or are forced to play 24 hours each day to get their max rewards. So hopefully this NFT energy boost is a good middle ground system that players who want to play more each day can grab one of those and continue to play for longer gaming sessions rather than just a little bit here and there. In Guild of Guardians, equipment will be entirely player driven, meaning the game won't sell any equipment from the store. They did, however, do 3 waves of a founder sale, all being highly successful. All NFT sales were sold out in less than 2 hours, being a clear indicator of the expectation to the game and to the strength of the community and investors. You can already tell by these sales that Guild of Guardians is a hot commodity within the NFT world, and I'm excited that they are leaving the equipment part of the game completely up to a player-driven economy. Those types of big drops will leave some great anticipation of wanting to come back each day to see if you can get a nice juicy reward. The plans that Guild of Guardians has for the NFTs has awarded them a score of 7.5 out of 10 for the NFT gaming assets and a 7 out of 10 on their artwork. Now, what about their white paper, including information on things like gameplay, blockchain, tokenomics, and more? Guild of Guardians crypto is going to be called GEMS, which is an ERC20 token on Ethereum. GEMS will be used for merging of heroes into a higher rarity, crafting new items as NFTs, and also used for ascension when a hero is upgraded to add a star to its level cap. The gems used in these activities will be sent to the rewards pool for redistribution back into the game, and for each consecutive particular NFT mint, the price increases. This is to encourage the early use of gems and serve as a mechanism to regulate the supply of assets and avoid market flooding. I like this concept as it's going to incentivize players to really get some gems and spend them to craft items while they are still cheap, as if you wait too long, the gem price is just going to continually go up. Hopefully that should increase demand as the supply is increased as well. They also seem to be putting a decent chunk of gems back into the reward pool so that players can continually earn. The gem token is going to utilize Ethereum, where the NFTs are going to be on the layer 2 solution, Immutable X. It can be seen in the effort to have zero cost in NFT transactions on Immutable X and having the players feel as though they're not entering with the blockchain altogether. This is something that a lot of current NFT games are trying to crack the code on. How do you bring Web 2 gamers into this space and make it feel like it's just a game and not even make them aware of all the blockchain technology until they're ready? If they really do that, then they're going to unlock a huge mobile gaming market potential. As far as the roadmap for the game, you can see that a lot of 2022 is going to be continual alpha testing of the game, with a beta launch coming in the first half of 2023, and then hopefully a full release of the game second half of 2023. You can also see on their timeline that they are a pretty active team and seem to be accomplishing a lot already. As far as the white paper itself, it's excellent from a business perspective. There are a lot of details for potential investors. However, we feel the game information is lacking, as we would like to see more details on the actual game content and the lore behind the game. There is a community handbook on the game created by Discord community member Cool's Potato, but we'd like to see the team also provide more information. All these combined thoughts from the alpha team has given the white paper a 6.5 out of 10. The team of Guild of Guardians is developed by Step Pico and published by Immutable. Stepico is a development studio primarily focusing on mobile games. They have 8 years of experience in the interactive entertainment industry, 150 plus employees, and have worked on 42 titles so far. We must disclaim that these teams are extensive and work on several projects simultaneously. As such, we cannot find out who is explicitly working on Guild of Guardians of the 350 plus people on Immutable and Stepico's LinkedIn pages. However, we did find both teams' managers and leaders listed in the team section above. Looking at the management teams of both Immutable and Stepico, it's clear that they have previous relevant experience. They got members who have worked in Riot Games, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, Microsoft, and more. All the positives of the team and backers of Guild of Guardians has earned them a score of 8 out of 10. Now, before we jump into the final thoughts here about Guild of Guardians, I want to remind you here at Balthazar, we are dedicated to making the best products for gamers, investors, and game developers alike for the NFT gaming industry. So when you get the chance, check out our website to find more in-depth research, launchpad opportunities, and more. Now for the final scoring of Guild of Guardians. Now, we don't have time to go over the scoring today, but the website received a 6 out of 10, and the strong community of Guild of Guardians has received a socioeconomic score of 8.5 out of 10. Now, as we look ahead for the potential future success of Guild of Guardians, one interesting thing to note that we haven't talked about yet is the fact that Guild of Guardians is going to be a flagship game for GameStop's new marketplace. As of January 2022, GameStop had 4,573 stores worldwide. We think it's natural to expect that it makes sense GameStop would push marketing on their flagship game and future games in the physical stores as well. The consequences this could have on the Web2 adoption of blockchain-based games could and should be huge. Also, during the first closed game demo, the participants played over 11,000 hours, killed over 15 million enemies, cleared 150,000 plus dungeons, lost 230,000 plus heroes for the greater good, and the hashtag GOG demo was used over 2,000 times and reached 1.7 million. For just the demo of an NFT game, those numbers seem to be doing pretty well, especially during a bear market. To summarize, Guild of Guardians is very much at an early stage, and we are missing key parts for a stronger, holistic showing. The lack of lore is negative, and the white paper could use a lot of updates, especially on the gameplay side. Outside of this, we are very hopeful for future updates, and we see a lot of promise through the flaws and drawbacks. The gameplay demo and the team behind this project are great. This is why the Guild of Guardians ended up with a total score of 7 out of 10 from the Alpha team. A 7 out of 10 is a good score from the Alpha team at Balthazar, and I think this is a fair score of Guild of Guardians. There's a lot of good hype and a lot of good things going for this game, as well as some needed improvements as they go along. In my personal opinion, I think this game has great potential for the mobile gaming experience, but I don't think it's going to be one of those top 10 games that competes with the likes of Fortnite, Valorant, League of Legends, Minecraft, etc. Still, I'm really excited for Guild of Guardians moving ahead, and if they can launch a really fun, successful beta in the first half of 2023 like is planned on the roadmap, I will be very happy and probably playing this game and streaming it. So that's it for now on a review of Guild of Guardians and where it's at currently as a project. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments as well, what you think about this project. For now, check out one of these other videos and subscribe as well. Gracias, salamat, merci, grazie for watching.